Hello, greens. What's going on? Peace and power, elevation be to all you beautiful people out there. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. So on this lovely Wednesday, okay, let me make sure I got the days correct. Yeah, today on Wednesday, March 30th of 2022. I want to still finish off the topic. Now, this is close to the end of Women History Month. All right. So I didn't cover every single thing or every detail, but I had to make sure that I talk about the goddesses, African goddesses, and African deities. Right. I had to bring that into the corporation. So the main focus is to talk about West African goddesses. All right. So this is the part two. Because part one I did by Nana Baluku. All right, so Nana Baluku, let me give you a quick recap. She is a goddess of fertility. Okay, she gave birth to the moon goddess, which is Amawu, and the sun god, which is Leza. Okay, Mawu Leza represents the moon and sun gods. All right, and after she did all her birthing process according to the mythology, she retired from the earth and she let it be taken over by her descendants. Okay. So with that being said, it was practiced. The goddess herself is worshipped in many cultures within the Caribbean culture, with the Fan culture, within the Yoruba culture, Iwe culture. So she's worshipped in that manner. However, today I am going to put my focus on Allah. All right. So Allah is the goddess of fertility, creativity, morality. Okay. That's what she represents, the goddess of the earth. All right. And she's mostly practiced in the Igbo tradition. Okay. And under the Igbo tradition, I want to get into what is called the Adinala. The Adinala is a form of religious and traditional practice in the Igbo culture. So I'm going to get into that. So before I get started, just make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, share my channel, like my channel, all that great stuff. Thank you guys who have been supporting my channel for a while. Thank you guys who've been watching my channel. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is really an honor and a pleasure to have y'all here to support my channel. So I'm going to get into Allah and Odinala. So Adinala, like I said, is the tradition, the practice, and the Igbo culture. And if you guys don't know about the Igbo people, they are the people of Southeastern Nigeria. Okay, they are the people of Southeastern Nigeria. The Yoruba people can be found in the southwestern part of Nigeria. So let me go ahead and get started. So I have some information that I have available. I have some books that people can check out. Okay. And I came across a website and a channel that you guys can also look at as well. Okay. So let's start off with the Odinala. Let's start with Odinala real fast. Now you may wonder what is Odinala. Okay. So I don't know much about Odinala myself. Again, it's a lot of information I discovered is new to me. So let's go ahead and look at down. Let's look down here where it says traditional African religions, right? So again, you can go on Wikipedia. Wiki1 is a form of Wikipedia where you find a lot of sources, a lot of information on. You discover a lot of facts. You discover a lot of references at the bottom of the page. So, and you always want to make sure you have secondary sources to back it up too. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what is Odinani? Okay, or Odinala. So also known as Omedala, right? So it's the traditional cultural beliefs and practices of the Igbo people of Southeast Nigeria, right? These terms as used here in the Igbo language are synonymous with the traditional Igbo religious system, which was not considered separate from the social norms of ancient traditional Igbo societies. Peace to brother Ibibio. Shout out to brother Ibibio. Thank you for coming through. All right. So theocratic in nature, spirituality played a huge role in their everyday lives. Although it was largely been supplanted by Christianity, the indigenous belief system remained in strong effect among the rural and village population of the Igbo, where it has times influenced the colonial religion. Aldinani is a pantheistic and polytheistic faith having a strong central deity at its head. All things spring from this deity, although a pantheon of other gods and spirits, these being Allah, Amadua, Anyawu, and Ikwansu, Ikinga, exists in the belief system as it does in many other traditional African religions. The lesser deity prevalent in Odinani expressively serves as helper or elements of Chikuwu, the central deity. All right. So then it go on to talk about the lesser spirit known as Akabara and Aruzi operate below the other gods and higher spirits. These lesser spirits represent natural forces. Agabara as a divine force manifests as separate Aruzi in the Igbo Pantheon. A concept of the eye of the sun or God exists as masculine and feminine solar deity, which forms a part of the solar veneration among the Inru Igbo in northern Igbo land, and Aruzi are mediated by Dibia and other priests who do not contact the high God directly. Though Afa divination, the laws and demands of the Aruzi are communicated to the living. Aruzi are venerated in community shrines around roadsides and forests, while smaller shrines are located in the household for ancestor veneration. Deceased ancestors live in the spirit world where they can be contacted. Below the Aruzi are minor and more general spirits known as immoral, loosely defined by their perceived malevolence or being natures. These minor spirits are not venerated and are sometimes considered the lost souls of the dead. Ancestor worship and the worship of various gods and spirits form the main component of the traditional Igbo religion, standing in contrast with Abrahamic religions. All right, so as you can see, you got the lesser spirits, right, which deals with the natural forces, okay? And the other ones deals with the other ones just deals with more like not just natural forces, but just deals with like fertility and the earth, etc. Okay, and so the one that we're going to talk about is Allah. But I just wanted to go over what the Odinani or Odinala is. Okay. So now, let's see. It says the number of people practicing Igbo religion decreased drastically in the 20th century with the influx of Christian missionary under auspices of the British colonial government in Nigeria. In some cases, Igbo traditional religion was synchronized with Christianity, but in many cases, indigenous rights were demonized by Christian missionaries who pointed out the practice of human sacrifice and some other cultural practices that were illegal under the colonial government. Right. Earlier missionaries referred to many indigenous religious practices as juju. Igbo religion is most present today in harvest ceremony such as New Yam Festival, which I will talk about one day, and masquerading traditions such as Mwawu and Ikebe. So these African words are very hard to pronounce. Remnants of Igbo religious right spread among African descendants in the Caribbean and North America. An era of the Atlantic slave trade. Igbo Abia was transferred to the British West Indies and Guyana as Obia. And aspects of Igbo masquerade tradition can be found among the festivals of the Garifuna people and Jonkunu in the West Indies and North Carolina. Oh, okay. Wow. But anyways, so let's kind of skip down. Let's go down to where it talks about the beliefs. Okay. Now I read some of this, so go down to where it says complex animism, right? Now, what is animism? Let's look at what animism is. So animism is the beliefs. It's the beliefs that objects, places, and creatures all possesses a distinct spiritual essence. Potentially, animism precedes all things: animal, plants, rock, rivers, weather system, human handiwork, and perhaps even worse, as animated and alive. Animism is used in the anthropology of religion as a term for the belief system of many indigenous peoples, especially in contrast to the relatively more recent development of organized religions. Animism focuses on the metaphysical universe with specific focus on the concept of the immaterial soul. So it sounds familiar, right? Well, let me tell you what that sounds like. That sounds like panpsychism, because panpsychism is kind of similar to animism. Because panpsychists believe that objects, inanimated objects in particular, have soul, have spirit, have some form of meaning, right? Have some form of life to it. So that's animism. And in a lot of African culture, you're going to realize that they look at not just things from the concrete, but also from the abstract point of view. Okay. So they also believe that that inanimated objects or objects that we think don't have soul to and have no significant meanings to it, such as people believe like stone has meaning to it, right? People believe that rock has meaning to it, right? So, and like river has a life to it. I mean, yeah, you might look at a river and you might think it's just water. But for somebody who's practicing animism, they believe that that river is more than just water. It represents life. It represents foundation. It represents something to them. Okay. All have life. I was saying, yeah, when they say North Carolina. Oh, you from North Carolina. You from North Carolina. You know what? I could believe that to be true because of the Gullah Geechee people. Because the Gullah Geechee people run from the Wilmington, North Carolina, all the way down to Florida. So I could see that being very possible and being very true. Okay. All right. So, anyways, going back to what I was reading, right? Okay, cool. Okay. Now, going back to what I was reading real fast, it says Chikiwu as the central deity is classed among the Indi Mamu invisible beings and ontological, right? So anything that deals with ontological deals with the value of things. So that's the form of metaphysics. Okay. Oh well, no. Ontology is deals with the state of being. My bad. Ontological. Ontology. I can't even get the word out. Ontology, right, deals with the state of being. This term right here, I'm highlight that word for you. And eschatology deals with the value of something. So ontology deals with the state of being, and eschatology deals with the state of value. Okay. Dang. All right. Anyways, Going back, what I said, an ontological category of beings, which includes Allah, the divine feminine earth force, Che, the personal deity, right? Uh, Indechi, the ancestor, and Mamu, the Mayan spirits. The other ontological category consists of Indi Mamadu, visible beings, which includes animals, Osi, plants, and the final class Euro, which consists of elements, minerals, and animate beings. While various gods, the spirits class of Arusi, and ancestors are worshipped and prayed to. No sacrifices are given to Chikuwu or Chukwu, and no shrines and altars are erected for it. If an Arusi is an assigned to an individual, it becomes a chi, a personal guardian, god slash spirit. Okay, so now it goes on to say complex animism builds the core concept of most traditional African religions, including Adinala. This includes the worship of tutelary deities, nature worship, ancestor worship, and the belief in the afterlife. While some religions adopt a pantheistic worldview, most follow a polytheistic system with various gods, spirits, and other supernatural beings. Traditional African religions also have elements of fetishism, shamanism, and veneration of relics. Now let's look at that real fast. What is relic? All right. All right, in a relic is an object or article of religious significance from the past. It usually consists of the physical remains of a saint or the personal effects of the saint or venerated person preserved for purposes of veneration as a tangible memorial. Relics are an important aspect of some forms of Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, shamanism, and many other religions. Relic derives from the Latin relique, meaning remains, and a form of the Latin verb relicere, to leave behind or abandon. Reliquary is a shrine that houses one or more religious relic. Okay, so let's give a prime example of a relic, right? Let's say when you get cremated, for if you have loved ones that are cremated, right? And inside the container, that container is called the urn. URN, which is the urn. Inside the urn is the remains of your loved one, your deceased loved one. So they call it ashes, but technically it's not ashes. What it really is the bones that's been crushed. So when they put the body inside the oven, okay, it's a special type of oven they put the human body in, and it goes up to like 400 degrees. Okay, that's very hot. So it burns the body, like everything is burning up. The only thing that is left of that person is their skeleton and their bones. And what they'll do is they'll take like a stick or something, they crush the bones up into pieces, make it look like ashes. So when they crush the bones up, they put them in the urns, okay, and they give it to the loved one. So that's a form of relic. All right, because you keeping the ashes of your loved ones, you keeping, which is the bones, which is the remains that you have. Okay, so going through the cremation process and putting the ashes in urns, right, saving your cremated loved one, that's a form of relic. Okay. Let me go ahead and let me keep it pushing. Okay. You know, and I've seen some weird things. I done seen where I don't know if you know what's method. It was in some type of African culture. I don't know what country or a tribe it was, but they dig up their loved ones out the grave and they walk around with them. They walk around with the dead body of their loved ones or their remains and sit them on some type of object or something. it's just it's kind of strange to me. You dig up the loved ones, and you because normally once you bury somebody, you bury them, and that's it. You don't go back and dig them up. You know what I mean? Now, unless you're doing archaeological work, that's a different story. Or if you're doing something that deals with forensics, like, which deals with crime scene, etc., then that's a different story. Okay. But outside of that, once they're dead, they're dead. You don't go back and dig them up. But in some cultures, they do that. They go and dig up the body of the loved ones, and they keep the body. Is a way to like honor them. It's like some type of celebration they have to honor the deceased people. So they walk around with their body, or they'll sit the body on some type of object and give reverence to them and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of weird to me. It's kind of weird because I wouldn't want to do that, but in other cultures, it's acceptable. And I think it was in the African culture. I don't know what tribe and I don't know what part of Africa it was, but yeah, they do that kind of stuff. So, somebody said, yeah, they'll keep the dead body propped up in a little shrine or a room. Yeah, they do. Yep. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. Oh, let's look at cosmology real fast. Cosmology. Okay, because see, I want to get to this. All right, so cosmology, the community of visible interacting beings, and the cosmos is referred to as Uwa, which includes all living things, Inhe, Indi, Di, Indu, including animals and vegetation and their mineral elements, which possesses a vital force and are regarded as counterparts to invisible forces in the spirit world. These living things and geomorphological features of the world therefore possess a guardian deity. Igbo cosmology present a balance between the feminine and masculine, perhaps with a preponderance of female representation in Igbo lore. In Igbo cosmology, the world was divided into four corners by the high god corresponding to Ike, Ore, Afo, and Kuwo, which are the days of the week in the Igbo calendar regarded as the market days, right? The universe is regarded as a composite of bounded spaces in an overlapping hemispherical structure. The total spaces are referred to as Ilewu na Allah. In one Igbo cosmological theory reported by W.R.G. Morton in the 1950s from Elder Ibagwa Nake in northern Igbo land, Chikuwu sees the sun travels across the world in the daytime and then cuts into two in order for the moon to pass on a perpendicular route. And so the world is divided into four parts and 4 days. The quarterly division of the earth and the days make the number 4 sacred to the Igbo. The Ile Nana Allah space is defined by two boundaries: Ilu, Igwe, sky's limit, composite of heavenly bodies under the main forces of the masculine sun and feminine moon, and Ilu, Allah, earth or land limit, consisting of the four mineral elements of fire and air, and earth and water, feminine. So fire and air represents masculinity in the Igbo cosmology, right? And earth and water represents femininity in the Igbo cosmology as well. Okay, so let me just go ahead and skip down. Oh, also what it says right here real quick. It says the pattern of 2 and 4 reoccur in the Chikiwu's creation. The days corresponded to the 4 cardinal points and are its name in Igbo: Ike, east; Ore, west; Afo, north; and Ikuro, south. Enri Igbo claimed the market days to have been introduced to the Igbo by their divine progenitor and King Ire in the 9th century after encountering the days as deities. These Alusi are venerated as the primary and as a major deity under Chinike in parts of Igbo land. In terms of hierarchy, some communities recognize Ike as the head of the Alusi, while others prioritize Ore, right, which is west, and Inkuwo, which is south, first after the high god. Marking days may have local deities representing the spirits in some places. In many southern Igbo towns, Aguwu is the patron of Ike. Agu was it Agu Wow Agu Wo? I'm gonna try to pronounce this. Agu Wu Wugu, or is it, yeah, Agu Wu Woo, or anyways, the patron of Ore, Amaduha, the patron of Afo, and Allah for Inkuwo. All right. The cosmos itself is divided into four constituent complexities known as Okiki, Alusi, Umo, and Uwa. Okiki is the event of creation. The Alusi are the lesser deities. The Imuo are the spirits of the ancestor, all other beings, and Uwa is the world. Okay, so that's an interesting cosmology of the Igbo. Okay, of the Igbo tradition. So let's see where we're gonna go. Let's go ahead. Let's go down. Look at the deities. Okay. All right. So before I either talk about Allah, let me show you the image. So as you can see, this is the feminine image of Allah. So Allah represents being that force of fertility, creativity, morality, and the earth. Okay. So this is the feminine symbolic imagery. As you can see, this is the anthropomorphism, right? Personification. Okay. Of that divine feminine goddess in the Igbo tradition. Okay. There we go. Just want to show you guys that real fast. Now, let's get to the bottom half of this. All right, so Allah, which meaning earth and land in Igbo, also Aja Ana, is the feminine earth spirit who is responsible for morality. Okay, let me try this again. All right, so Allah meaning earth, right, and land in Igbo, and Aja Ana is the feminine earth spirit who is responsible for morality, fertility, and the dead ancestors who are stored in the underworld in her womb. Allah is at the head of the Igbo Pantheon, maintaining order and carrying out justice against wrongdoers. Okay, Allah is the most prominent and worship Arusi. Almost every Igbo village has a shrine dedicated to her called Ihu Allah, where large decisions are taken. So that means she is the responsibility of morality, right? Once again, and the dead ancestors, right? So anytime the punishment should be taking place, or if there's justice that should be taking place, they seek out to Allah. All right, which represents the fact that she deals with the morality standpoint. Okay. So they reach out to her as far as veneration is concerned. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's continue. It says Allah is at the head of the Igbo Pantheon, maintaining order and carrying out justice against wrongdoers. Allah is the most prominent and worshipped Alusi. Almost every Igbo village has a shrine dedicated to her called the Ihu Allah, where large decisions are taken. Allah is believed to be involved in all aspects of human affairs, including festivals and offerings. Allah stands for fertility and things that generate life, including water, stones, and vegetation, color, beauty, which is connected to goodness in Igbo society and uniqueness. Now, she's a symbol of morality who sanctioned Omanellia, Igbo customs from which these moral and ethical behaviors are upheld in Igbo society. Okay. Allah is the ground itself. For this reason, taboos and crimes are known as Insur Allah, desecration of Allah. All land is holy as the embodiment of Allah, making her principal legal sanctioning authority. Prohibitions including murder, suicide, theft, incest, and abnormalities of birth, such as in many places the birth of twins and the killing and eating of pregnant animals. If a slaughtered animal is found to be pregnant, sacrifices are made to Allah and the fetus is buried. The people who commit suicides are not buried in the ground or given burial rites, but cast away in order not to further offend and pollute the land. Their ability to become ancestor is therefore nullified. When an individual dies a bad death in the society, such as from the effects of divine retributive justice or breaking a taboo, they are not buried in the earth, but are discarded in a forest so as not to offend Allah. As in cases of most Arusi, Allah has the ability to be malevolent if perceived to be offended and can cause harm against those who offend her. All right. So as you can see, that's the snake, right? The Pantheon. The royal Pantheon is revealed as an agent of Allah. It says within the earth's spherical limit, in a cosmological sense, is a destination of the earth's bosom within Ime Allah, a hemispherical base to the earth with an opening or mouth at its highest point. Anu Allah. This is composed of mainly deep, dark sea water. Imme Allah is considered as the underworld. Allah, in addition to embodying nature, is the cosmic base on which the fault of heaven, Igwe, rests. As the foundation of all existence, children's umbilical cords are saved and symbolically buried under a tree to mark the child's first sharing of family-owned lands. This tree could either be an oil palm, breadfruit tree, raffia palm, or plantain tree, depending on the cultural region. In some places, such as Inri, the royal Pantheon, Ike is considered a sacred and tame agent of Allah and a harbinger of good fortune when found in a home. The Pantheon is referred to as Ini, mother in area where the Pantheon is revered. It is a symbol of female beauty and gentleness. Killing of the Pantheon is expressly forbidden in these places, and sanctions are taken against the killer, including the funding of expensive human-sized burials that are given to slain Pantheons. All right, so as you can see, the culture is pretty strict about a lot of things. So Allah represents the justice, represents corporal punishment, represents fertility, and just represents earth. So anything that goes down in the Igbo culture, if you do any type of injustice against the tradition, that's who you have to deal with, the Allah. All right. Wow, that's some powerful information right there. So again, this is the information about Allah, the deity of the Igbo people. So I have more books that kind of go into similar aspect. Well, I got one book and the other one that I recommend people to check out. Okay. So also, I want you guys to check out this website. Interesting website. So I'm gonna put up the information right here. So this website comes from newafrican77.wordpress.com. newafrican77.wordpress.com. Okay. So this website goes into Allah Ani, the Mother Earth Goddess of them all, Igbo Adinala. Okay. So if you guys want to check out this website, you can. As a matter of fact, there's a brother on YouTube by the name of Haki Kwali Shakur. Haki Kwali Shakur. Or Kwali. I'm sorry. Yeah, Haki Kwali Shakur. So check out Haki Kwali Shakur. I think I've seen this brother before. Okay. I don't know if I've seen him on Facebook or whatnot. But yeah, check out his page, his YouTube channel. That's Haki Kwali Shakur. Okay. He has a video on indigenous African spiritual science. Right. And it says spirituality didn't start with a book. Then also he goes into the Adinala, Amenala, Alpha. Okay. So you can check him out on YouTube. Haki Kwali Shakur. Again, Haki Kwali Shakur. All right, so that's that information. Let's see. Let me see. I'm gonna do this. All right, so as you can see right here, this book is called Listening to Ourselves, a multilingual anthology of African philosophy by Chike Jeffers. Okay. So I don't have the physical copy, but it can be found on Amazon and it's around like $31 or $32. So this book kind of goes into the Igbo tradition and the practice. Okay. It's called Listening to Ourselves. Okay. Then also you have to check out this book. It's called African Goddess Initiation. Okay, African Goddess Initiation by Obala Abrams. Okay, which deals with sacrifice, rituals for self-love, prosperity, and joy. All right, so you can also check her book out as well. All right, so now, and speaking of that, I'm on here in a chapter. All right, so this book deals with rituals and it's like a self-help book for women, in particularly for Black women, African descended women. So the author wrote the book for Black women in particular, but anybody can learn from this book. So I'm just going to read some of the information real fast. Okay. Because I don't have that much time on here. It says, okay. Anyway, so it says, Goddess of Grief, Igbo/Nigeria, grief release circle ritual. Okay. All right. So in this book, it says, I am supported by my loved ones, those who are seen and those who are unseen. So Allah's message, in duo, sweet one, most humans are made of patches of grief so hastily together. Sob, shriek, bawl, shed tears, grieve it out, wail it out, cry out. Allah's story. Great Goddess Allah, keeper of mysteries, we see you, we say your name. Ancestor pray to her first. The covenant your sages made with her still stands. Allah is the earth, the realm we live on. She is the ancient mother. Allah is the foremost Alusi and Adinala, the religion of the Igbo people, knows that Allah is a part of the word Adinala itself. Goddess Allah oversees justice, death, morality, and grief. Her name means earth, and she represents the cycles of life. She handles all related. She handled all related to the afterlife, and deceased ancestors find safety in her womb. Her womb is the earth to which we will all return. The Igbo are ruled by duality, so Allah also oversees motherhood and fertility. She safeguards women and children with her loving maternal energy. When babies are born, their umbilical cords are buried to anchor their connection to Allah, the earth. Chikiwu, the supreme being, created Allah and her husband, Amaduha, Alusi, of justice, peace, and unity first. They are considered to be two of the six aspects of the Most High. Amaduha is also the Igbo god of thunder and lightning. Okay. And there are 10 rounds pyramid built in the town of Insude in Igbo land to honor Allah. They said that she lived on top of them near the moon. Allah's symbol is the crescent moon, and she is often pictured holding children. We see the crescent moon twice a month, waxing and waning. The waxing crescent after the new moon is the energy of expansion and growth. Then the waning crescent after full moon represents the death of the old cycle. Okay. Then it goes along and say Iluwa, meaning to come back to the world, is the Igbo philosophy of reincarnation. Energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed, so life goes on. Reincarnation is part of Allah's domain. We die. When we die, we are replanted into the earth as seeds. We have 8 chances to incarnate back to the earth. Allah typically incarnate us within our same family groups with different roles. You may come back with the same scars or birthmarks. That's pretty deep. Okay. So it says, we are currently in a dualistic state and realm in Igbo cosmology. Your family must have 2 funerals for you to return to the earth. If you live a good life, your family will want you to return. They must atone for your sins. If you have not been a positive member of the community and they don't want you to return, they won't give you the second funeral. The first funeral is for your body, and the second one is for your spirit. This explains why so many cultures in the diaspora have similar rituals. The Garifuna have the Dugu washing of the dead. And in Guyana, Trinidad, and Jamaica, we have the 9-night wake tradition and second memorials 40 days after someone has transitioned. During 9-night, bereaved families are visited daily by loved ones with drama and song. All right. So again, that comes from this book. All right. It's called The African Goddess Initiation. Okay. Sacred Rituals for Self-Love, Prosperity, and Joy by Obala Abraham. Again, Sacred Rituals for Self-Love, Prosperity, Joy by Obala and Abrams. Obala Abrams, my bad. That's her name. All right. So this book is like mainly for sisters who really want to like get into initiation, get into some type of self-help and self-love or whatnot. But anybody can read this book, okay? So it's recommendable. All right. Very recommendable. Okay. Ooh. All right, then. So that's all I have for today. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, share my channel, all that great stuff. So this is your girl, Tiffany, and I'm logging off with saying peace and power elevation be to all of you. Until next time, take it easy on yourself. Deuces.